You're watching ABC7 News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Matter. Topping our news tonight, the search continues for those responsible following a shooting this evening at a Sarasota park. Sarasota Sheriff's deputies responded to a report of shots fired at Urfer Park at the corner of Bee Ridge Road and Honore Avenue around 4:30. That's often a popular park for local families with a large playground area. The incident forcing the park to close temporarily, and a witness tells ABC7 that children were at the park when they heard gunfire.
Just two quick pops, yeah. It sounded like firecrackers. We didn't really think it was shots at the time, but later I heard a lady kind of frantic over there. She was calling the cops, talking on the phone, and you could tell that something was wrong. So it ended up being a couple gunshots. She said she saw a guy shooting a couple times.
No one was injured in that shooting, but if you have any information on it, you are being asked to contact the Sarasota County Crime Stoppers at the number listed on your screen. That is 366-TIPS. And contract negotiations continue between Sarasota Memorial Hospital and Florida Blue Cross Blue Shield. If an agreement is not reached before the end of the month, it would affect those who are insured by Florida Blue. ABC7's Rick Adams has more tonight from Sarasota Memorial Hospital.
Well, we have received a lot of calls from folks who are concerned about this. If this doesn't get resolved, it will impact thousands of people. For Sue Ashby and her husband, there is a lot of concern. If a contract renewal agreement isn't reached between Sarasota Memorial Hospital and Blue Cross Blue Shield by March 31st, then the entire healthcare system will be considered out of network.
I'm just feeling a little bit of uncertainty. I'm waiting to have some procedures done, and if they fall after April the 1st, what happens? Where do I go? Do I have to start the whole thing all over again? You know, it's just uncertainty.
Many Florida Blue Cross Blue Shield policyholders recently received a letter from their provider directing its customers to the 6 other hospitals in Sarasota and Manatee counties, just in case this contract can't be resolved. Jack Lugmas is an insurance broker who has concerned clients, most of whom have Blue Cross Blue Shield's coverage.
There really aren't many other alternatives to what Sarasota Memorial can provide, and there certainly are no other alternatives to Florida Blue. So it seems to me that they have to be able to figure out a way to work this out.
The main sticking points with its contract negotiation are over protection from claim denials and disputes and prompt payment for services that have been done. Also, the hospital is asking for a small rate increase for its physicians. In a statement we had received from Sarasota Memorial Hospital, in part it says, insurance contracts are not just about rates and reimbursement, but also important protections for our patients and community health system. While we cannot guarantee that we will reach an agreement tomorrow or even next week, we remain in active discussions with Blue Cross and Blue Shield and are making steady progress each day. We remain optimistic that we can reach a new agreement before the existing one expires on March 31. For Sue Ashby, her husband, and many others, they are hopeful this agreement happens much sooner rather than later.
The patient at the end of the day is the most important person. It's the person that you're going to mend. And you really need to get together, sort out a deal that you're happy with, both of you.
And if you do have any questions or concerns about this, contact information can be found on our website at mysuncoast.com. Reporting from Sarasota, I'm Rick Adams, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Rick, thank you very much. Legislation aimed at tackling the state's growing opioid epidemic problem has passed in the state Senate today. If approved, a 3-day limit will be placed on prescriptions for treatment of acute pain. The bill also would require physicians or their staff members to check with a statewide database before prescribing or dispensing drugs. And the bill would also earmark nearly $1 million for improvements to the database known as the Prescription Drug Monitoring Program so that it can connect physicians' offices and electronic health records used by doctors. Because the Senate added an amendment including more than $50 million for outpatient and residential treatment, that bill must now return to the House for a final approval before the 2018 legislative session ends tomorrow. As more homeowners switch to solar power, some are worried about the costs. Not the cost of installing solar panels, but rather the cost for getting permission to do so from the local government. As it currently stands, you have to get a permit to install the panels, and you have to pay for an inspection. But the Venice Environmental Advisory Council wants the City of Venice to waive those fees to inspire more people to go solar. Venice City Councilman Fred Frazee says while he loves the idea of ditching permit fees for solar panels, he's also aware there's two sides to that issue.
We do it for one group, then somebody else might want to say, well, what if, I install water heaters, so, how come you can't? So it's like a domino effect.
The City Council may discuss the matter in an upcoming council meeting. Well, certainly a chilly night here on the Suncoast. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Good evening, Bob.
Good evening, Jacqueline. I'll tell you, it is kind of cool right now. Temperatures into the mid-50s, and with a north to northwest wind at 10, it makes it feel much chillier out there, and it's going to be a big deal tomorrow morning, especially as the kids head to school. So we're talking wind chills in the upper 30s for our area. 56 degrees right now, clear, and the dew point temperature is really low at 43. Winds are out of the north-northwest at 10. The pressure continues to rise at 30-15. Now, temperatures already down to 40 degrees in Tallahassee and in Jacksonville. 10 degrees warmer in Orlando now, 58 into Miami, and 65 in Key West. The winds out of the northwest right now. You can see that in Woodfield Estates, Bradenton, also into Palmetto, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles an hour. A little more wind there at Anna Maria at the north end anyway. And down south, a 12-mile-an-hour wind at Minnesota Beach. So these winds will stay out of the north at 5 to 10 tomorrow morning. It won't be as windy tomorrow, but we will still see a little bit of a breeze out of the north. Lows projected tonight will be into the mid-40s to even some upper 30s. Well, in the Northport, should be right around 40 degrees. 39 at Mayaca City, 42 Lakewood Ranch, and with a little bit of a wind, it'll feel much colder out there. 50 degrees Anna Maria and Bradenton, dropping down to about 46. Well, much more on another storm system, which promises to bring us some rainfall coming up in just a little bit. Jacqueline?
All right, thanks, Bob. We'll talk with you soon. A surprise announcement tonight from the White House. President Trump agreeing to meet with North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un. A remarkable turnaround in a historically strained relationship following a year of intractable demands, threats, and name-calling between the two. ABC's Tara Palmieri tells us what the two world leaders are expected to discuss.
Kim Jong-un is ready to sit down with President Trump. The South Koreans came to Washington to deliver a letter from the North Korean dictator, indicating that they're ready to talk peace.
I told President Trump that in our meeting, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said he is committed to denuclearization.
Even more,
and he expressed his eagerness to meet President Trump as soon as possible.
The South Korean official said their meeting could happen as soon as May. The offer includes a promise to stop nuclear and missile testing, but it's unclear if North Korea will release 3 American detainees. The U.S. and South Korea will still conduct their military exercises despite the invitation to start talks. North Korea hasn't launched an intercontinental ballistic missile since November 28th, exactly 100 days ago. In August, President Trump took a hard line on North Korea.
They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
He criticized Secretary of State Tillerson for attempts at diplomacy. The North Korean economy has suffered greatly under new sanctions. A group of Republican lawmakers sent a letter to President Trump urging him to put the maximum amount of pressure on North Korea. They warned of false promises from Kim Jong-un. Tara Palmieri, ABC News, Washington.
Most state workers will not be getting a raise in the coming year, but Florida's judges could be getting a big one. Florida legislators wrapped up a work on a new state budget that does not include an across-the-board pay raise for most state employees. However, the new budget has a 36% pay raise for the 7 justices on the Florida Supreme Court. It also raises the salaries of all judges, as well as prosecutors and public defenders. State law enforcement officers and firefighters are also in line for a raise. The legislature is scheduled to vote on that budget on Sunday and then send it back to Governor Rick Scott. And Florida legislators also want to move the date of their 2020 annual session. The Florida Senate voting today to move the date of that year's annual session from March to January. The House has already approved the bill, and now it too goes to Governor Rick Scott. Well, stay with us. Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your first alert forecast, plus new insight into those terrifying moments at Stoneman Douglas High School, the sheriff's office releasing a portion of the 911 calls that operators received. And what's next for Florida Governor Rick Scott's decision over school safety legislation.
Every week on Animal Outtakes, it's a new animal adventure. The process of milking cows is not like it used to be. We're taking a trip to a dairy farm. And it's an iconic children's toy, the teddy bear. We get up close to the real thing. I'm just not sure we'll be cuddling with this one. Join us this week on ABC7.
Our overall experience working with California Closets was phenomenal.
Calm, reassuring.
Through happenstance, we ended up paired with our designer, Jen. She was someone who not only was patient, someone who was professional. She's become extended family.
She had great insight to help direct me towards those things that could make our dreams come true.
We are the Greens, and this is our California Closet story.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dotoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
We all love our kids and want what's best for them. You have the power to help your kids learn to succeed in life every day. When you promote a love for learning at home, children build the skills they need to be ready for school. You can be their everyday hero. It's easy. Just text Everyday Hero to 77453 for simple learning tips.
So Matt told me to meet him at 7 a.m. sharp right here. It is now 7:01 a.m. You think Matt will leave without me? Hey, is Matt here?
Long gone.
Long gone.
Just missed him.
Just missed him.
All done.
Mr. Sparky guarantees they're on time and the repair is free, so chop chop.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Matt, you started without me.
I finished without you too.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
New details tonight in the deadly mass shooting at Stoneman Douglas High School. The Broward County Sheriff's Office releasing the audio of 10 of the 81 calls its 911 center received during the February 14th shooting. A warning, what you are about to hear may be upsetting to some. Calls came from students hiding in classrooms and parents who were getting calls and text messages from their children.
It's being shot up. Are you at the school? I can't hear you. Are you at the school?
I love you. I love you. It's going to be fine. Can you hide somewhere? Can you play dead?
Just devastating to hear those calls. Now this comes as Governor Rick Scott plans to meet with the families of victims of last month's mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School tomorrow, raising expectations that he will sign into law a sweeping school safety measure that sparked pushback from people on both ends of the gun control spectrum. Last night, the Florida House voted 67-50 to approve the bill to spend $400 million on mental health screening and services, as well as school hardening. Additionally, the measure will raise the age from 18 to 21 and impose a 3-day waiting period for the purchase of rifles. The most controversial part of that measure allows specially trained teachers and staff members to bring guns to school. Today, Scott said that the opinion of the parents was among the most important things for him to consider as he decides what to do about that bill.
I'm going to review the bill line by line, and the group that I'm going to be talking to, the groups that I care the most about right now because it impacted them so much, is the families.
The families of all 17 of those victims of the Parkland shooting have encouraged Governor Scott to sign the legislation, even though the governor has resisted arming teachers. A popular Suncoast boat ramp is back open. After a 9-month renovation, the North Coquina boat ramp on Gulf Drive is now available for use with several upgrades. The ramp now has a second boat launch, 3 new docks, and a paved parking lot. The boat dock was closed back in 2015 because of safety concerns. However, I don't know how many people were out using it today, Bob. It was kind of chilly.
It was, and a bit breezy out there too, but things are looking better for boating tomorrow as we move through town. It's going to be a nice addition too, using that. Again, the waves were rather big out in the Gulf of Mexico, and there were advisories for rip currents. And you can see from the Casey Key webcam, we had some high surf there, and it looks as though that's starting to calm down a little bit. It will be a touch and go tomorrow morning. Beautiful sunset tonight, though. Just enough clouds around to create some spectacular pictures. And get a look at this shot from Fred Seeger sending in the balloons out at Lakewood Ranch. It's always spectacular to see those, especially at night like that. They'll be out there at Lakewood Ranch through the weekend, and should be okay weather for those balloons. You know, they need a little cold weather for the heat to allow them to rise, and it looks like it will be cold tomorrow for those balloons. Now, we're not getting the snowfall that they're seeing up in the Northeast. They're still getting it. More snow expected throughout the Friday across the Northeast. There are still winter storm warnings for northern portions of Maine, but the story is we have some freezing temperatures down in Georgia, South Carolina, and even North Florida tonight, or at least some frost still there. We also have a fire watch for our county, Manatee County, for tomorrow as a result of the humidity dropping below 35% and still have a breeze out there. Now, the pollen count went down on Wednesday, and now it's back up. Today it was 10. Tomorrow the forecast is still fairly high, but just a little lower than it was today. And the major allergens, again, are the trees, the oak, nettle, and juniper. Now, 56 degrees currently. We have clear skies, and the dew point temperature is what we watch for the potential low temperature. It's going to be down in the 40s in places here along the Sun Coast, and even some upper 30s well inland into places like Arcadia and into Highlands County. 64 the high only today. 75 is our normal. We'll be below average again tomorrow, into the upper 60s though. A little bit warmer than it was today, and not as windy in the afternoon. A large dome of high pressure will keep the clouds away for a couple of days. This is Saturday morning. Looks good. A few showers along the East Coast are possible. Even on Sunday morning, through most of it, it's looking okay. But by the time we get into the Sunday afternoon, say 2, 3 o'clock, there'll be a good chance for some showers. Better chances come late Sunday afternoon and into Sunday night as yet another storm system develops and will sweep another cold front our way. And that cold front will cool things down to start the work week. But tomorrow, highs, I mentioned, will be into the upper 60s by the afternoon. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. Should be a nice day. The wind's lessening up somewhat too, and temperatures will be into the 30s and 40s over the Panhandle. That's where they have the frost advisory in effect across North Florida and throughout Georgia. Highs tomorrow getting close to that 70-degree mark. Some places will see 70 for a high, and then even on Saturday morning, it's going to start off rather chilly, below average, into the upper 40s to low 50s to start the day on Saturday. Well, that snowstorm is winding down right now. You can see it, but still the snow forecast is considerable into Saturday and even into Saturday night. And then another storm system develops and kind of gathers over the Northeast on Monday and Tuesday, really getting its act together, drawing in some moisture from the Atlantic and dumping heavy snow where they've had a series of snowstorms there, and that continues to be a problem up there. Now, temperatures currently starting to drop again. 12 in Minot, Minneapolis at 21. All that cold air is going to stay around too, I think, for at least the next 48 hours over the northern plain states and throughout the Great Lakes into the mid-30s there in Cleveland and Detroit and Chicago, getting up to 39. For boaters, I mentioned it gets a little bit better tomorrow. Northeast winds at 15 knots, and then seas will be running right around 2 feet. Now, the winds will come down to 5 to 10 in the afternoon. So here's the forecast for the next 7 days. Lots of sunshine through Saturday, increasing clouds Sunday afternoon and Sunday night with a good chance for showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms, some of which could be severe or strong. We'll keep an eye on that for you. And then we'll see temperatures cool down through Thursday of next week, but we will see temperatures warm up by next weekend, not this weekend coming up. Well, here's a look at some of the photos sent in of some great pictures of some of the fish caught recently. This one from Captain Alan Roth, who his client there in the blue shirt caught that huge snook. And he said the snook had been biting, but that may be changing now due to the cooling down of the water temperature, which has been extremely high. Jennifer Carlson catching this huge triple tail, and that's been the story this winter. Triple tail have been really abundant, and they have been big, and that one is right there, really big. And the breakwater charters are showing this one here, Captain Brian Marcy, his client catching a big kingfish. And the kingfish are out there now. They're running just offshore. And then get a look at this. This is an amazing picture of a huge snook, too big to keep. We are into snook season where you can keep them, but the slot is very small, 28 to 33 inches. This one was measured at 36 inches, caught right there at Longboat Key. Our friend Coach Steve Herrick said he used a big whiting. It was his last bait, and he said it was too big. He didn't think anyone would bite it, but that fish is so big that
great pictures there.
It was pretty hungry.
Yeah, obviously.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Bob. Well, stay with us. Sports is coming up next, but first, here's what's coming up on Jimmy Kimmel.
Tonight, we made a thunder show. I think this would be great. This is for Oscar, actually, not for you. Oh, got a little version for him.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Alex Karras Lincoln's 40th anniversary sale. Please join us in welcoming the two newest additions to the Lincoln lineup, our flagship luxury sedan, the 2018 Lincoln Continental, and the totally redesigned 2018 Lincoln Navigator, featuring 450 horsepower, 10-speed transmission, and many best-in-class features. Alex Karras Lincoln, where our mission statement is consistent commitment, every client, every time. Located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
It's time to take a road trip. Alabama's got 100 road trips, and some of the best are music to your ears, like the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. Or head over to Muscle Shoals and Fame Studios. Are you a star yet?
My mama thinks so.
Or, if that's your stomach I hear grumbling, our barbecue is almost a religious experience. Food good here? Best in the country. Alabama's got 100 road trips. Which one you gonna take?
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration.
Get involved and go to justiceforvets.org.
Help put treatment within reach of veterans in crisis.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
One of the motivating factors for me to become a Big Brother was that I was mentored as a youth. And it was important for me to kind of pass forward the things that were kind of given to me. It's really just as simple as getting to know a kid. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have any of those other things. You just have to be willing to spend a little time and help mold some young person's life.
Now, sports.
The Tampa Bay Lightning have a chance to tie an NHL record tonight, although it's one they'd rather not own. The Bolts trying to avoid a 7th straight overtime game while hosting the Rangers tonight. In the first, the Lightning's Cedric Paquette scores the goal on the rebound of the shot by Chris Kunitz. The Bolts getting on the board first. Then later, the Rangers turn the puck over in the zone, and Anthony Cirelli makes the backhand pass to Adam Ernst for the goal. It's 2-0 for the Lightning, and that momentum just continues. Your final 5-1 tonight for the Lightning. And today, the Pittsburgh Pirates hosted Military Appreciation Day at Lecom Park. The team partnered with local organizations to host both active duty military members and veterans along with their guests to enjoy a day of appreciation for their service at the stadium. The Pirates donated 125 game tickets to the veterans, and guests got to enjoy a pregame barbecue picnic as well. And it's time now for our Orioles fan of the day. Rachel West and Leon Chung posing with the O's bobblehead bird statue. And don't forget, you could be our next fan of the day. All you have to do is go to an Orioles spring training game at home, take a selfie, and then send it to us at pics@mysuncoast.com. That's PIX@mysuncoast.com. And there's just one game on the Suncoast tomorrow. The Rays will host the Twins in Port Charlotte at 1:05. Both the Pirates and the Orioles are on the road on Friday. And the PGA Tour playing just north of here in Palm Harbor in the first round of play from the Valspar Championship. On the 10th hole, Tiger Woods with the great approach that hits the pin. He would end up making par to remain even. Tiger with a tough lie at the 16th. He then advances the ball and in the process hits the tree on his follow-through and has to let go of the club. The ball ends up just short of the green and Tiger seemed to be fine. He would end up making par to remain even and finishes the day 1 under. As a look at sports tonight, we'll have your winning lotto numbers when we return.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Our accolades are great. Just wait until you see our prices. Rugs as Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Give kisses. Give kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon? You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Once you get atrial fibrillation, you need to have a very close relationship with your primary doctor. Prevention is the whole ball game here, because once you have a stroke, you can't undo it. A year without stroke is a year that you can enjoy doing the things that you've worked all your life to finally get to do. You took care of yourself. You did what is necessary for you to be around one more year. And then next year, we'll celebrate one more year without a stroke.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business. Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
The Florida Lottery winning numbers are sponsored by Frontier Fios.
The surviving members of the Cranberries are celebrating a milestone. This month marked the 25th anniversary of their debut album. To commemorate, the Cranberries announced today that they have been working on a very special 25th anniversary edition of the album. This despite the death of lead singer Dolores O'Riordan earlier this year. The new album will include newly remastered music with previously unreleased material, as well as bonus material from the era of the debut album. They plan to release it later this year. And the fame is strong with this one. Mark Hamill, best known for his role as Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars films, got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame today. He was joined at the unveiling by Star Wars creator George Lucas, Star Wars co-star Harrison Ford, and a couple of stormtroopers, of course, among a mass of fans. Hamill's star is the 2,630th star on the famous sidewalks.
Nice. Good for him. Yeah. Congratulations to him. And our weather's looking pretty good tomorrow, although it will be a cold start. It should be a nice afternoon. We'll look for temperatures to warm up into the mid-70s in some places, upper 70s on Saturday. A chance for rain comes on Sunday.
All right. Thank you so much, Bob. And thank you all for joining us this evening. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a good one.